So red angle, that's ahead.
120.
Can you tell, is that the Hillsboro wrestler or the Richland Center wrestler on the top position?
It must be Richland Center.
Okay.
Yeah, Hillsboro.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So it's 5. Now it's 5-5. With 52 seconds remaining in the third period. We finally get used to the singlets, and then they'll change again.
For the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that. Well, we're getting a pinning combination here on mat number 4. That looks like a Reedsburg Beaver in pretty good position. Now rolling back up and out of there. That's a Westby Norseman at 120 pounds.
285 is still tied 5-5. That's on mat number 1 with 20 seconds remaining there. And on mat number 2, it is Austin Cushman from Belmont Platteville with an early, nope, that's tied up now. 2-2. He's wrestling against Wesley Hatfield from River Valley. Hatfield Valley and Cushman from Belmont Platteville. Mat number 2, upper right of your screen.
Mat 4 in that lower right, that's Brogan Milstead. He is the top seed, came in 11-2. This is Clayton Geyer, a freshman, and he is taking on the number, well, I guess in a sense he would be the number 8 seed as things turn out.
We just saw on mat number 1 where the assistant or the off official did his job, and I'm going to say did his job correctly. There was right at the buzzer, the young man from Richland Center got a takedown, but it was like a half a second after the buzzer. So the off official said, nope, time had elapsed. So good job there by the young men down there on mat number 1. Overtime on mat number 1 between Hill and Buckles.
7-2 your score down in that lower right-hand corner of the screen. Milstead out on top.
Quite a difference in the movement going on here on mat number 2 versus mat number 1. Ken, tell us here, if there's no takedown here, we got 6 seconds left in this period. We're still tied at 5. Well, there's going to be a takedown, so we don't have to worry about it. So it's Buckles from Richland Center coming up with the win in overtime, 7-5. He'll move on, and he's going to wrestle against Dylan Nottestad from Westby, the top seed, at 285.
Well, we got mat 3 is empty. They're getting ready for 106 pounds there. Back on mat number 4, it's now 10-2, and we're going to make it 10-3. Milstead will let Geyer go, and they'll go after the takedown.
Now, we could be into that 45-minute situation here on mat number 3.
I suppose.
Discuss that real quick.
Well, you have to have the 45-minute rest in between matches. That's just that's the National High School Federation rules, which is different than WWF because there it's only 30 minutes, but you have that 45-minute rest. Make sure you completely, rehydrated and all that good stuff, and then you're ready to rock and roll again. So it'll be just a few more minutes with that one. I see Geyer, I think it was a Geyer from, was that at Westby? Let me look here. It could be the top seed in Reed. Oh, no, it's could be Fry from GT who they're waiting on. So that'll be a few minutes.
Nearing the conclusion of period number 2 is Cushman from Belmont Platteville, leading 4-2 over Wesley Hatfield from River Valley. They'll go into the third period at that score, 4-2.
20 seconds remaining on mat number 4, and I tell you what, Geyer has closed the gap. He's trailing 10-5, but unfortunately for him, there's only 5 seconds remaining in that match.
Mat number 1, I believe it's Willett from GET. wrestling against Alexis Wanik from Baraboo. That's on mat number 1. Wanik, the number 2 seed, with a record of 9-3, a senior.
Well, I looked at things wrong. That was only the second period down there, Chuck. I thought it was the third period. So on mat 4, they're going to continue to wrestle.
All right.
And a reversal here. Geyer is coming back on Middlestead. Now 11-7 here, as Geyer will let Middlestead go. Geyer's picked up the last 6 out of 7 points or so.
Cushman has extended his lead to 7-2 and has Hatfield on his back. He's going to pick up some more points. Picks up 3. It's now 10-2 with 50 seconds remaining in the match at 113 pounds between Cushman from Belmont-Platteville, Leslie Hatfield from River Valley.
Yeah, to win at 113 over there, Chuck, it was GT Melmin getting pinned.
Mm-hmm. That was Willett getting pinned by Alexis Wanik. Yeah, and I'll apologize right now if I pronounce names wrong. It's not on purpose. And you know, we could have the same name depending on what community it's from.
Yeah.
Said differently. Cushman comes up with a fall. He'll move into the semifinals. If you make the semifinals, you're guaranteed 4th place.
Yeah. That's all, I can kind of, used to be I like to wrestle back to 3rd,
Yep.
but time factors and that kind of stuff, I've kind of mellowed out. I can go either way anymore.
Yeah. I know the Lancaster Invitational is still that you can wrestle back for 3rd, but
Is
I
it?
agree with you too, yes.
Well, we're going to bump up to 126 pounds on mat number 3 while they're waiting for the time factor at 106. We do have a match at 120 pounds. It's now 12-9. 13 seconds remaining here. Geyer trying to get some points. He's got the 2. He trails by 1. And I tell you what, that was one great comeback. He's going to lose out here, Chuck. It's, tell you what a match over here between Milstead and Geyer, Reedsburg and Westby, respectively. Milstead, the top seed, going to squeak by 13-11.
Wow, top seed. And at 120 pounds on mat number 2, it's going to be Mason Ulrich from Belmont Platteville, a freshman at 3-6. He's wrestling against the number 2 seed, Garrett Vogley from Monroe, a senior at 7-3. Vogley with the advantage, 3-2, nearing the 1-minute mark of the first period. That's at 120 pounds on mat number 2. Upper right of your screen, and then coming up on mat number 1, this will be at 126. We'll get those wrestlers to you in just a second here.
Chuck at 120, Knockreiner, Wyatt Knockreiner from River Valley coming out onto the mat right now. He is tackling Cameron Finch, number 4 seed. It's 4 versus 5 seed at 120 pounds.
At 126 on mat number 1, it's Scott Johnson from GET, a freshman at a record of 0-5, wrestling against the number 2 seed, Sean Duffy from Riverdale, 11-4 sophomore. Just about a half a minute in. It's 2-0.
Landon Bloom of Toma is doing a clinic on near fall points right now with Jordan Parker. 4 versus 5 at 126, and it's 11-0 right now, and I think it's going to be 12-0.
I got a question for you. It looks like it's 12-0 because he had one finger.
Yeah.
All right, now, I do not know the answer to this. All right. You're getting to see a fair more wrestlers, and I actually went to a basketball game the other day. Tough word to say for a wrestling coach, but the hair length.
Oh my goodness!
So many of these.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, now what's the situation?
Yeah.
You're standing up on me, and you got the real long ponytail or whatever, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to grab it and pull you back down to the mat. Is there any, what's the situation there? My
understanding is, now I don't know if the term is right, but I'm going to say a technical violation, just like grabbing clothing or anything else. You can't. I had a gentleman ask me that at Black River Falls, and I said, well, you got to look at it the same as, clothing or however you want to look at headgear. That kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know. The response I got yesterday from somebody else was tough crap. Just like in professional football that happened the other day. I think it was in a professional or a college game I watched. Somebody grabbed the hair, and this guy said, well, yep, you'll get him back down to the ground. So I don't know. Well, maybe we'll ask one of the main officials here.
We'll have to collar them. See what they think there.
Yeah.
Well, we just got a pin. Bloom from Toma picks up the pin over Parker of River Ridge. He'll move into the semifinals here a little bit later this afternoon. The finals, I think, are slated somewhere around 3:30 or
somewhere between 3 and 4 o'clock.
4, yeah.
All right, 6-2 on mat number 2. Vaguely from Monroe over Ulrich from Belmont Platteville. That's nearly the 1-minute mark of the second period.
120 pounds on mat number 4. 2-0 score. You got Toma and Knockreiner of River Valley, Finch of Toma. And I think looks like it's Finch with the early lead.
Vogley will come up with the pin. Time of 3 minutes and 4 seconds over Ulrich. That was on mat number 2. On mat number 1, let me get to the right page, is 6-1. That's a Riverdale wrestler. Duffy from Riverdale with the advantage, 6-1 over Johnson from GET. Mat number 1, the upper left of your screen. That's just past the 1 minute mark of the second period.
Well, it's 2-0 still over on mat 4. When we go back to 106 pounds, it must be getting really close to the time factor on mat number 3. That's why it's still empty, but they're ready. See if they get the bout sheets over there, and maybe they'll bump up one more weight class again. Thanks again to those sponsors, Driftless Area Hunters Outlet, that's Rick Fruit right here in Richland Center. Genuine Telecom, we're providing all kinds of internet service for the city of RC. The Titan Wrestling Club, which is GET Mel Min, wishing all the best to the Titans here today. And our thanks going out to Hartshee Lumber out there in Laval. Thanks to Scott Parrish and all the great crew.
6-1 yet on mat number 1, 5 seconds remaining in the second period. Yes. Ken, real quickly, can you tell us who all the officials are?
Oh, my goodness.
I can't.
No.
I know. We got Scotty Brookman over
Yep.
here on mat number 1. Lynn
Yep.
Eisensee on mat number 2.
Yep.
Adam Guthrie on 3. That Matt Boyer on 4.
Yes.
And the other people,
I'm at a loss.
okay, I don't know.
I've seen this gentleman. Oh, Mike Nicolotti is here. He's sitting down and talking to Mike. I'm at a loss to his name right now.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure neither. And the young fellow over on mat number 1, not certain who he is neither.
Sometimes they put the officials in here, but they didn't on this particular case. So yeah, I apologize not knowing a couple of them here. But it's nice to see the young official.
Yes, for certain. There's another young fellow that I don't know if he's kind of shadowing or if he's
Nothing score remains. We're in period number 3 on mat number 4. And they got a bit of a scramble going on. Finch with that lead. Check that. Finch is down 2-0. Knockreiner with the lead and not able to get an advantage. So stalemate is called and they'll go back up to their feet looking for that takedown.
Duffy has extended his lead now to 10-1 with right at the 1 minute mark on the clock in the third period. Again, Duffy from Riverdale wrestling against Johnson from GET. Duffy, the number 2 seed at 126. Trenton Curtin, the top seed at 126.
Thanks to Inspired Innovations, that's Jenny Ewers. Well, you know what? They're down in Gotham now. So how about that? They moved the facility. Jones Chevrolet, of course, right out here, 95 plus years serving the area. Laval Telephone Cooperative, appreciate their support. Greg and John and all the crew. And Napa Parts, that is John Cosgrove, Napa Jones Auto Parts right here in Richland Center.
Again, we're waiting on mats 2 and 3 because of the time limit. That first round went quite quickly. Not a lot of preliminary matches, but we have to wait for 45 minutes to open the mats back up for those next opponents. Duffy up 10-1. And I'm going to write him in already as far as moving on to the semifinals, and he will be guaranteed 4th place.
All right. And also taking a look here, it was Knockreiner picking up the win at 120. You just saw his hand raised. He comes out in front of Finch by a score of 4-0. So the number 5 seed over the number 4 seed. And we're getting set now. Looks like they're going to report here at 106 pounds on mat 3. We'll slide back to that bracket. It's going to be River Valley coming out onto the mat. And let's see, who is that? That is going to be Johnson, Jaden Johnson, who won his preliminary match, taking on Ethan Haiti of Richland Center, freshman and a junior.
All right, at mat number 1, this will be back at 106 pounds now. It'll be number 2 seed Gavin Mirabelli from Riverdale, a freshman at 7-0. He's wrestling against Jaden Geyer from Westby. Westby also, the Westby wrestler, also a freshman with a record of 1-0. Actually, it's now 2-0 because he defeated Owen Bedward from River Ridge in the opening round.
Here comes a pinning combination by Richland Center's Haiti. Had a nice takedown right to the back, and good scramble getting off his back, though, by River Valley here in Johnson. Also on mat number 4, we got another 120-pound match going on there, and that is going to feature, let's see, trying to catch that one. Is that a Riverdale? That's a Riverdale wrestler. Might be Riverdale and River Valley, it looks like. There's a rivalry, right?
Mm.
And let's see, would that be... that's at 120. Or maybe it's Baraboo.
On mat number 2 at 106 pounds, top seed trainer Curtin wrestling against Tarek Fry. Curtin is from Reedsburg. Fry is from GET. No score. They're just approaching the 1 minute mark in the first period.
Well, Haiti picks up the pin over Johnson at 106 pounds for Richland Center. And that is Baraboo against Riverdale. So that's at 120 on mat number 4. That is Oberg, Peyton Oberg of Baraboo, taking on Chase McGuire, a freshman from Riverdale. Right now, Oberg has the big advantage, a major decision, 9-1, and they're into the second period of action.
We're scoreless on mat number 2. And Mirabelli on mat number 1. Trying to come up with some back points, not able to do so. And where actually it's 2-2 is what they got on the board. Mirabelli looks like he's in on a single leg. And they're going to stop the action there with Westby Geyer getting warned for stalling.
At 1:26, they're waiting just for another minute or so here, and we're going to move into the match between Reedsburg and Trenton Curtin, the top seed, taking on Blake Hansen of Westby.
On mat number 2, Curtin from Reedsburg with a 2-0 advantage over Tarek Fry from GET. That's just started. No. Yes, just starting the second period. 2-0. Tied 2-2 between Geyer from Westby and Mirabelli from Riverdale. That's just hit the 1 minute mark of the second period there.
Pinning,
also at 106 pounds.
Pinning combination, Chuck, over on mat 4 here. Baraboo's Oberg in good position right now. 11-1 lead, and he's close to the pin. And a very quick takedown here on mat number 3 with Curtin of Reedsburg over Blake Hansen of Westby.
Okay, and on mat number 2, it was a pin for trainer Curtin. 32 seconds into the second period. Curtin will match up with Austin Gray from Toma in the semifinals at 106. Here's the other young fellow I was talking about right here. Again.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Good match on mat number 1 between Geyer from Westby and Mirabelli from Riverdale. It's still tied 2-2. Nearing the conclusion of period number 2.
2-0 score here with Curtin and Hansen on mat 3, lower left, as a might have been a potentially dangerous call there. I didn't quite see it. And 15-1. There's a takedown and a technical fall here for at 120 pounds for Oberg of Baraboo, picking up the big win.
On mat number 2, it's Finch from Toma at a 9-1 junior, the top seed, wrestling against Devlin Krieger from River Valley. Krieger picked up a win in that first round against Braden Freestone from Weston Ithaca. Finch up 9-2.
Four nothing score for Curtin over Hansen now. They'll move into period number 2. On mat 4, they are now up to 132 pounds. And that is going to be, is that Monroe? I think in Finch. And I believe that is, well, I'm not 100% there, Chuck. Does that look like a...
Which one there?
On mat 4. I think that is Monroe. If it's Monroe, then it's either Freestone or Kruger. That's not a River Valley singlet, is it? It might be.
Might be. Well, Finch from Toma wins at 132 pounds. He'll move into the semifinals.
Oh, that's a Reedsburg one, excuse me.
And Mirabelli comes up with a fall with 43 seconds remaining in the third period. He moves into the semifinals at 106. Mirabelli from Riverdale.
This is Colton Hertz from Reedsburg on mat 4, and Christian Shu from Monroe. That's the 4 and 5 seed. And Curtin from Reedsburg at 126 is going to pick up a pin. And he'll move into the semifinals. He'll be taking on Landon Bloom of Toma a little bit later on. And you said Marabelli won? There. Okay.
Mat number 1 at 126 pounds. Minahan from Monroe, wrestling against, I believe it's Camden Schultz from Baraboo. Just underway at 126 pounds on mat number 1. And on mat number 2 at 132 pounds, Carter Spenceley from Belmont Platteville, the number 2 seed in the orange singlet, wrestling against Jackson Blaken from GET.
Well, on mat 3, we have a Riverdale Chieftain, and this is going to be a Cashton Eagle. Now it says 132, so I'm trying to look to see here. This is going to be Casey Layton of Riverdale taking on Abraham Harder of Cashton. No score in that match. We got a warning for stalling over on mat 4 with Reedsburg and Monroe at 132. That's Harritz of Reedsburg, who was just warned. Shu of Monroe is tied up at 3-piece over there. 35 seconds remaining in period number 1.
No score on mat number 1, the 126-pound weight class between Minahan from Monroe and Schultz from Baraboo. And same thing on mat number 2, no score there between Spenceley from Belmont Platteville and Blaken from GET.
Shu has a pinning combination now after picking up a takedown. And he's going to get some more back points on top of that, so he'll lead as time is going to run out. Picking up a couple points there. 7-3 the score.
Minahan able to pick up a takedown near the end of the first period. He leads 2-0 over Schultz. That's on mat number 1. 3-0 with the escape.
On mat 3, lower left, it's Riverdale out in front. Layton by a score of 4-0 over Harder of Cashton. Thanks again to some of those sponsors. Manio Dairy Farms, that's Ran and Heidi Manning, wishing all a joyous Christmas time. The Monroe Wrestling Club, say we got to talk about that real quick. You can contact John Witt, 558-1050, if you have any questions. They have a big tournament coming up, youth tournament. It is going to be on Sunday, January 26th. Pre-registration, $20. You can walk in. Walk-ins are accepted, but that will cost you $25. Big tournament coming up here in Monroe for your area youth wrestlers.
Minahan comes up with a fall in the time of 2 minutes and 54 seconds. He'll move to the semifinals at 126.
Well, that was good timing. Monroe wrestler and Monroe Wrestling Club. Nordic Lane's helping us out tonight, this afternoon, thanks to Scott and Sue Sordahl. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Boy, I tell you what, Viroqua here in Richland Center, down in Prairie du Chien, Toma. They got all kinds of them. Thanks to Bill Klimek for his great support. And right here in Richland Center, it's the Phoenix Center. Great bowling and delicious food. Thanks to Amy and Tom and all the crew here in RC, and of course that's the Phoenix Center.
Still no score on mat number 2 between Carter Spenceley, the number 2 seed there from Belmont Platteville, a record of 5-1. He's wrestling against Jackson Blakeland from GET, also sophomore, but a record of 2-5. And Blaken in the top position, not allowing Spenceley to score any points or vice versa too, but it's 0-0 with 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Number 2 seed having a tough time here.
Well, Chuck, we just wound up with a technical violation here on mat number 3 where Riverdale's Layton got his hand in on the headgear, and Adam saw it, and he got called for the 1-point technical violation. He's coming right back looking for another pinning combination against Harder, and he's racking up some back points.
Can't grab the headgear?
No.
No? Kind of like a face mask penalty,
There
I
you
suppose,
go,
in football.
Like, no, I want your head over here.
All right, Spenceley and Blaken going 0-0 to period number 3.
We got a 10-10 score, Chuck. How about that? 20 points being scored down here on mat number 4. We just got a timeout. Looks like a little bloody nose going on there. That is quite the match at 132 pounds between Colton Harritz of Reedsburg and Kristen Shue of Monroe.
On mat number 1, Jack Dubach from Monroe wrestling against Benny Bemis from Toma. That's 4-1 Dubach with the advantage. 20 seconds left in that first period.
Well, we got a pinning combination very close to the pin. They can get the pin out of bounds here with the rule changes.
I like it.
It's
It's different. Yeah, it's different.
Well, you gotta wrestle.
Yep.
It used to be, I know, I said it as a coach, get out of bounds.
Yep.
You're on your back, get out of bounds.
Yep,
but
yep.
any coach will say that. And in this case, you can get out of bounds, but if the supporting points of the wrestler on top is inside, guess what? You're in trouble. Well, they're going to get actually wind up back to the base, so Harder lives for a few more seconds here as he trails 11-1 with 6 seconds remaining over Layton of Riverdale. Now Riverdale is going to be given a caution here for the starting spot. 12-10 score down on mat number 4. Shue shot back in, but scramble and time will run out. It's 12-11. They'll move to period number 3.
Mat number 2, Blaken, the number 7 seed. He's ahead of Carter Spenceley, the number 2 seed, with 20 seconds to go by a score of 5-1. Spenceley does the throw, but they're going to be out of bounds as GET's Blaken recovers. So 11 seconds remaining in that match.
Well, that would be quite an upset, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we had a little flurry of action on mat 4 with some back points and then a reversal. It's still 14, make it 16-13 here in favor of Shue of Monroe.
Blaken picks up the win, 5-1 at 132 pounds.
On mat 3, the wrestlers will start on their feet here. It's 11-1. Layton out in front. And over on mat 4 with Harritz and Shue, that score is 16-13. A minute and 4 seconds remaining here. Monroe there is out in front here, the number 4 seed.
Dubach from Monroe with an 8-3 advantage at the 10-second mark of the second period. It's over Tony Bemis from Toma. Bemis the number 3 seed, Dubach the number 6 seed.
Backing up on the warning call here. This is on mat 3. I think that was on Harder. Over on mat 4. Another little bit of a roll, but we're going to get a warning for stalling on Shue. Mike Nicolati feeling that he's just staying hip to hip a little too much.
Taking to mat number 2, it's going to be Kaden Schneider from Reedsburg. He's a senior with a record of 7-6. His opponent is Tanner Paulson from Belmont Platteville, also a senior. Paulson has a record of 9-1.
Thanks again to some of those sponsors. Pizza Hut of Richland Center supporting today's broadcast. We appreciate their support. Thanks to Brandon and the crew. Richland Electric Cooperative right down here in Richland Center. That's Trevor and the bunch. Richland Grant Telephone out there in Blue River area. We appreciate their help. And Richards Insurance, that's Rob and the crew over there in Ithaca and, of course, up in Reedsburg. There we are.
Paulson with a 2-1 advantage in the 138-pound weight class. Paulson from Belmont-Platteville over Schneider from Reedsburg. And it's 10-3 on mat number 1. And it's Dubach over Bemis. Under a minute to go in that match.
Shu picks up the win on mat 4, and Layton picks up the victory on mat 3. And we'll move into 138 pounds on those two mats. And Chuck, I have to ask you, did Finch from Toma win at 132?
Let me see if I got it. Don't put my. Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes, he
okay.
did.
Who did he have?
He had Krieger from River Valley,
I
believe.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. All right. So now all four mats are at 138 pounds.
How many times will that happen? That we have the same weight class on all four mats.
It finally happened. Yeah, it's been a juggle before, wasn't it?
Anderson's wrestling on the top seat. Is he wrestling White or Stitzer?
Let's see. Did I get that one?
GT.
And where are they at?
Are they on that?
Oh, that's over
that
there.
That must be White
yep,
then.
That's White. Yep. You're testing me. That was my mat.
You bet. Dubach wins on mat number 1. He'll move to the semifinals. Dubach from Monroe.
2-0 score on mat 3. And we've got a Richland Center Hornet out here on the mat. That is going to be Trevin Thielman. And his opponent is Philip Volz from Hillsboro. I wonder if they wrestled in the dual meet a couple weeks ago. They might have.
Very possible.
13-0 score. Boy, that's and it's actually going to be 15-0. So Anderson of GT picks up the technical fall. He'll move into the semifinals.
All right. Paulson with a 5-1 lead. 3 minutes and 4 seconds have elapsed in that match. On mat number 1, that's a Westby wrestler, I believe. Hansen?
On mat 1,
yep.
yes.
Okay,
yep.
It's Dominic Hansen. from Westby, a senior with a record of 11-2. He's wrestling against Ethan Klinkner from Caston, a sophomore with a record of 4-2. Just underway, 145 pounds on mat number 1.
Klinkner last year, I'm just trying to think, I think he might have made the sectionals, but it lost out in the first round.
Okay. But Klinkner with the first takedown in that match.
2-0 score here on mat 3 with Richland Center in Thielman out in front. He defers in the second period. He'll have his choice in the third. Or is he down? Excuse me, he's down actually. He chose down. Over on mat 4, we've moved up to 145 pounds, and we have Toma and GET out there. That is, where is that? Baraboo again. Excuse me, that's Baraboo. And Connor Gorski, the top seed, taking on Hayden Fry of GET. And Gorski right now locking in the legs, picking up back points.
Third period on mat number 2 at 138 pounds. Paulson with a 5-1 advantage over Schneider from Reedsburg. Paulson from Belmont Platteville.
Nice reversal here by Thielman. He extends his lead 4-0 on mat 3.
Klinkner will take that 2-0 lead into the second period against Hansen at 145.
And at 145, Gorski comes up with the pin, and he'll move on now into the semifinals.
Paulson from Belmont Platteville moves to the semis at 138.
Potentially a dangerous call here at 138 in the lower left side. Thielman out in front, 4-0. Moving to 152 over on mat number 4, lower right. And that is going to be, let's see, we're going to have Toma. Toma's coming out to wrestle Wanik of Riverdale. That's the number 2 versus number 7.
The third Belmont Platteville wrestler on mat number 2, back-to-back-to-back, and that's Dylan Tabor from Belmont Platteville, a senior with a record of 7-3. He's wrestling against Wyatt Trudeau from Reedsburg, a senior with a record of 6-2. That's on mat number 2, the upper right-hand quadrant of your screen.
Well, jumping out to a quick 4-0 lead here on mat 4, lower right. That is going to be Riley Wanik of Riverdale. He's a sophomore coming in at 15-0, having a great year so far early on. And his opponent in Blaine Brooker of Toma picked up his first win in the prelim round. Now Booker will get the escape, and trying to get around, cut the corner here was Wanik, but not having anything to do with it. Now a big head throw, trying to re-roll through, and boy, I tell you what, that's going to be a good scramble down there. 2 takedown for Booker, and then a reversal for Wanik.
Klinkner with a 5-0 advantage over Hansen from Westby. Took a little bit of time. It looked like Hansen had a cut on his lip or side of the face, one of the two there. They're wiping a little blood there.
6-2 score here on mat 3 as they doing a little blood cleanup here. Go back to mat 4, and it's 9-3 with a near side cradle trying to be applied here. A little bit high on that cradle for Wanik, and they'll go out of bounds, start back fresh. Well, more of our sponsors. We'll take a look here. How about Riverdale Wrestling Club, since we have some of the chieftains out there. Proud tradition there for those Riverdale wrestlers. Title Works right here in Richland Center. Thanks to Mark Curry for his help. And Vernon Communications. Well, we do apologize. We were hoping things would be on channel 14. Unfortunately, something not working correctly, so we had to make a quick adjustment. Some of the folks up in that from Viroqua and Lafarge, Coon Valley area, they're going to be able to, and Cashton, you'll be able to watch some of this, but unfortunately, we're not able to get it to Genuine Telecom and Richland Grant like we had hoped.
Tending to Hansen again, looks like he's got a cut on the side of his face there. And on mat number 2, Tabor from Belmont Platteville has increased his lead to 8-0 at the minute and 30 mark of the second period.
I guess the one thing I would say too, folks, for those of you that are able to watch, if you have friends in the Richland Center area, the Riverdale, Blue River and that, over in Laval, Casanova area, there's a pin. Please, text them, Facebook them, whatever you got to do. Let them know that you can go to twitch.tv/WWVP LLC.
Tabor picks up the fall at 145 from Belmont Platteville. He moves to the semifinals. Klickner with that 5-0 lead, also at 145 pounds. Klickner from Cashton wrestling against Dominic Hansen from Westby.
Well, let's take a look over on mat 4. We have a pinning combination. 14-3 lead here at 152 pounds. This is Riverdale's Wanik. Tell you what, he has been in control of this match from the get-go. And they're going to go out of bounds. Another 3 points, so 17-3. He's on the verge of a tech fall.
On mat number 2, Lincoln Manning from Weston Ithaca. A junior with a record of 6-1, wrestling against Brett Hemmersbach from Cashton. He is a sophomore with a record of 5-4. Manning, nice takedown to start things off. They're just 40 seconds into the match at 152. Hemmersbach and Manning.
Thielman's going to pick up the win at 138 pounds and move on to the semifinals, the number 3 seed. And he'll battle the number 2 seed in Tanner Paulson of Belmont Platteville.
Klickner and Hansen go out of bounds. Klickner holding on to that 5-0 lead. They're in the neutral position of the third period. Manning picks up a fall at 152. And he'll move into the semifinals.
Wanik will pick up the tech fall victory by a score of 20-5. That was at 152. So Wanik.
Hansen picks up a takedown and lets his opponent go at 6-2 at the minute mark of the third period. Hansen trailing Klinkner. And on mat number 2 now, this is at 160 pounds. It's Ben Peterson from GET, junior at 3-4, wrestling against Jace Amaker from Monroe, a senior at 2-6. Not the Ben Peterson we used to know.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Ben Peterson was a pretty good sized guy.
Yeah, Olympian.
Tell you what, so humble though.
And what was his brother's name?
Oh, I knew you'd do that to me. Ben and, why am I drawing a blank?
Well, we're getting older.
That explains it.
So much knowledge just takes a little time to get it pulled out of there.
Yeah. It'll come to me.
Yeah, same thing. They come to me when you tell me.
On mat number 3 at 145, we have Radke of River Valley. Landon is taking on Toma and Caleb Rose. And right now, Radke does have the lead.
All right. Klinkner picks up an 8-3 decision over Hansen. Klinkner in the semifinals at 145.
Now we got a little bit of a injury time here with Rose. I don't know if he bumped his head or what happened there. So they're going to check him out, make sure he's okay. Meanwhile, it's a 2-0 score on mat number 4. And that is a Toma wrestler. Oh, they're up to 160 already.
Well, Ben Peterson with a 6-3 advantage at 160 over Amaker from Monroe. Peterson from GET. That's on mat number 2, the upper right quarter of your screen.
Dalton Johnson of Toma taking on Bryant Yankee of Reedsburg. That's on mat 4.
On mat number 1, upper left of your screen, it's the top seed Brady Shue from Monroe, wrestling against Colin Niederkorn from GET. That's in the upper left of your screen at 152 pounds. 2-0 quickly Shue.
John, by the way. John.
Yes, that's right, John Peterson. I knew that.
I was like, why can I not remember that?
Yeah.
That was just, man.
That was only 40 years ago. 35, whatever.
Here comes looks like a reversal. Trying to come up with some back points here is Yankee of Reedsburg. Boy, he's got some pressure right now on Toma.
Shue from Monroe wins by a fall in 53 seconds. At 152, he'll move on and wrestle against Lincoln Manning in the semifinals at 152.
There's going to be a pin. Yankee of Reedsburg comes from behind and is going to pick up the win here. The number 5 seed over the number 4 seed at 160 pounds. And did you say Shue won?
Shue won, yes, by fall in 53 seconds.
Okay. And Vatlin and did he wrestle?
I haven't called him yet.
Okay. I was looking around too. I didn't see him. Oh, there they are.
At mat number 2 at 160. Peterson from GET now has extended that lead to 12-3. And we got a pin in 29 seconds at 160. That was by Trevor Templin from Ithaca Weston. He moves to the semifinals.
Was he wrestling CFC or?
Yeah, he'll have. That was CFC that he had.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're about ready to get things going again. I'm not sure if they defaulted out. They must have defaulted out at 152, or which one was that? That might have been 45 with Radke and Rose. I think that's what happened.
Do you know which one of them won?
Radke won.
Okay.
Rose was, I think he hit his head on the mat just a little too hard there. He could.
Okay.
Looked like he was not feeling very well.
Did Gorski win at 145?
Yes.
Okay.
At 152 now on the mat, it's going to be Garrett Vatlin, the number 3 seed, taking on Peyton Fry. Both these wrestlers are juniors. Reedsburg and Fry. Tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys knocked heads a couple weeks ago on that December 4th time frame. That was always a great dual meet tournament over there at Reedsburg that we would go to.
On mat number 1 at 182 now, it's Xavier Hurwitz from Hillsboro, a senior with a record of 1-3 wrestling against Luke Pape from River Valley at 5-7. I believe it's Pape.
What weight?
182.
Oh.
Pape, I believe, is the pronunciation.
So, yeah.
I've seen it also pronounced Poppy.
Oh, really?
And at 170, it's Devin Judd. That's on mat number 2 from Reedsburg, wrestling against, is that CFC? Let's see. 170. That's Judd. That's on his back from Reedsburg, and he got pinned. The top seed is defeated. And that is by, who's the winner right there with that?
Reedsburg?
CFC.
CFC. Yep.
CFC.
Wow.
Okay.
At 170.
That was Sam Schutz from CFC coming up with the pin over at top seed Devin Judd from Reedsburg. Schultz with no record coming in, a sophomore. And he'll make a statement at 170.
A Hillsboro wrestler won over on mat 1 there too, Chuck. Was that 182? That would have been Harretz.
Harretz, okay.
He had
won
picked
by
up
fall,
that,
I
yeah.
take it.
Yep. Let's take a look here. Now we got a little injury time going on here on mat 3. Let's look over on mat 4, going out of bounds. 6-0 score. That is Colin O'Neill from Cashton, number 2 seed. And we got to flip the paper here and see his opponent from Hillsboro is Osorio. There we go, Osorio.
At 182 on mat number 1, Luke Stotts from Baraboo, wrestling against Aaron Davis from Richland Center, and that match is over with Stotts with the fall in 56 seconds. And now wrestling on mat number 2. That's Brenninger from Richland Center and Clark from Riverdale. Brenninger, a sophomore at 6-2. Clark, a junior with a record of 7-7. Brenninger was that early 2-0 advantage.
8-0 score now for Colin O'Neill of Cashton as he has worked his way out in front. Thanks to Wallace Cooper and LA Insurance here in Richland Center. Sheila Troxel and her great crew. WCCU, appreciate their support. And of course, there are 9 area banks, facilities. Walsh's Ace Hardware, Richland Center, Muscadet, and La Crosse. Be sure to stop into any of those 3 great stores. And our thanks to the Weston and Ithaca wrestling clubs as they continue to help support today's broadcast. We hope that you're enjoying all of the competition here on our channel 2 and on twitch.tv where we're streaming. We'll also have all kinds of rebroadcast. I'll have the rebroadcast also on my YouTube channel later on, hopefully later on this weekend.
At 195 on mat number 1, that was Justice Vaylor from GET with a pin in 29 seconds over Tyler Murray from Reedsburg. That was at 195.
we're going to get a injury default here. Fry is going to have to step off the mat against Vatlin of Westby, that at 152 pounds. So tough break there for Peyton Fry as a junior. But you know what? Get yourself healed up and ready for the grind in January.
Mm-hmm. Brenninger holds a 4-0 advantage at 170 pounds. That's on mat number 2, upper right of your screen. And on mat number 1 now at 220 pounds. That's Mason Monderano from Belmont Platteville wrestling against Riley Martin from Baraboo.
O'Neill still out in front here now, 11-0 the score. Over Osorio. We also have a match at 170 pounds here on mat number 3, very close to the pin. This is Owen of Baraboo, and he is taking on Jack Schlesner of Cashton, and there's going to be the pin for Owen of Baraboo. Meanwhile, O'Neill, with 25 seconds remaining, in control of his match on mat 4.
Brenninger still up 4-0 in his match over Clark from Riverdale, and he'll come up with a pin. Brenninger in the time of 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Brenninger moves to the semifinals for Richland Center.
And it's going to be a 14-0 victory for Colin O'Neill at 160 pounds, as the Cashton Eagles will send a wrestler into the semifinals.
Mat number 1, yet no score between Martin and Monderano. That's 29 seconds remaining in the first period at 220 pounds.
Taking a look here now on mat number 3 at 195 pounds. This is going to be Toma. This is Tanner Matthias of Toma taking on Jaden, Baragan, I guess, or Baragan, one of the two, from River Ridge.
Coming up on the orange mat, the upper right of your screen, it will be the 220-pound weight class. Teague Perkins from Richland Center, the top seed at this weight class with a record of 7-1, a sophomore wrestling against Jacob Bindle, a senior from River Valley, at 4-9.
Farjan of Ithaca Weston just picking up a takedown over on mat number 4, lower right-hand corner of the screen, has a 2-0 advantage over his opponent in Ethan Hulse from Boscobel.
Monderano up 7-0, looking for some more points on the back here, or a pin. Minute and 15 to go in the second period, and again, that's Monderano from Belmont Platteville, Riley Martin from Baraboo.
Matthias is going to pick up a pin here, Chuck, on mat number 1, and it's going to be a 1:23 pin time.
Monderano comes up with the fall. 3 minutes and 7 seconds. He'll move to the semifinals.
Two-one score now on mat 1. We're going to move to 285 pounds on mat 3 here. Oh, wow.
Teague Perkins with a stack, and he'll pin Bindle. So Perkins from Richland Center, the top seed, moves on. He'll wrestle Mason Monderano, the number 4 seed, in the semifinals at 220.
Well, let's look at that 285-pound weight class. We have number 2. Oh, wait. Take that back. Number 4 seed Kane Groom of Boscobel taking on Porter Monderano.
On mat number 1 now at 220 pounds, it's going to be Ethan Novacek from Hillsboro wrestling against Jesus Gonzalez from Reedsburg. Gonzalez, the number 2 seed. Novacek is a senior with a record of 1-4. Gonzalez with a record of 11-2. He's a sophomore. And on mat number 2, there'll be Marshall Self from Weston Ithaca wrestling against Braden Lockington from GET. Self with the first takedown, leading 2-0 with just 28 seconds elapsed in this first period at 2:20.
Looking for some back points right now on mat number 3. Groom of Boscobel has a turn here and gets thrown right over the top. He's going to pick up some back points, and now they'll go out of bounds. One escape for Belmont Platteville in Monderano. 170 down on mat number 4 is also a Boscobel Bulldog. Hulsey is taking on, if I remember right, Fargen. Yes, this is David Fargen of Ithaca Weston. That's a 6-2 score. Fargen in the lead.
Gonzalez with a fall at 220 pounds. He moves to the semifinals. He'll take on the winner of Self and Lockington, who was wrestling on mat number 2 right now with Marshall Self leading 2-0. And 285. Top seed Dylan Nottestad from Westby wrestling against Bruce Buckholtz from Richland Center. Buckholtz won the overtime decision over Denver Hill from Hillsboro in the preliminary match.
Eight-2 score down on the Fargen-Hulsey match, mat 4. Fargen out in front. And now David Fargen will pick up another takedown, and it's 10-3 after giving up the escape.
Question, I'm guessing you know this answer. After we get done with the quarterfinals here at 285, do we go right into a wrestleback?
I thought they were going to, but it would make sense if they did that.
Yep, they did. Would. That's where I'm going to be hard pressed to try to find all the wrestlers.
I know it's going to be a chore.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can get a new bracket sheet.
I'm guessing they won't print them until after that wrestleback round is done.
Well, we'll do
what we can. Yeah.
We'll try and piece it together, but yeah, I think you're right, because there's no way I went to the back. I was doing everything on the front.
On the front side.
Just to hope I could do that.
Yeah. And it looks like they're going to start already with those. They are. 106-pounder coming to the mat on mat number 1.
they might finish up this round. They actually are doing really well with time, I think.
Yep.
So it would be nice to see him finish up. We're at 285. Mat 4 is still 170. 40 seconds remaining in that particular match down there.
Nice scramble on mat number 2 between Self and Lockington.
Oh.
And now Lockington is going to be able to hit a throw on Self, and he's got Self on his back. With a minute and 15, and there's the fall. It'll be Braden Lockington moving on into the semifinals against Jesus Gonzalez.
Well, let's take a look here. It is 11-4 with David Farjan, and time is going to run out. That'll be the final. Just missing they did get the point, so he does pick up an extra team point for the Bulldog Silver Eagle squad, as it's a major decision. That was at 170 pounds.
On mat number 2, it's number 2 seed Isaac Bunker from Monroe, junior 11-0. He's wrestling against Brett Bindle, a junior also from River Valley with a record of 9-4. I saw Bunker out in the cafeteria when we came through. He's a big boy. Big boy.
Yeah, it's like, how do they grow so big anymore? I walk by my grandson now, and he's got to be over 6'2".
Wow.
And I tell you what, I feel small, and he's only a freshman.
Wow. All right, Bunker's able to come up with the fall in 46 seconds. Move to the semifinals.
195 on mat 4. We have a Boscobel Bulldog out on the mat, taking on, looks like a River Valley. That is going to be Hunter Steiner of Boscobel, and Zach Emus from River Valley. Hope I'm saying that one right.
A question for you. See a guy just walking off. When can you lower your straps on your singlet?
Well, it used to be you had to be off the mat.
Off the mat.
Did they change it?
I was just asking you. I mean, here he comes to the table and turns around, takes his straps down, and walks across the mat.
Oh, wow. They must have changed it then. Yeah, it's so funny because we talk about stuff and you're like, from the old school side of things, you do the, you have your hair cut and you have this and you have that and you don't have a mustache, and it's just different nowadays.
Yep.
But that's okay. I mean, things are
Then we went
change.
to the head covering or the hair covering.
Yep.
And now it's kind of looks like anything goes.
They've gone away from that. So 195, we're going to pick up a win here for River Valley at 195. That was Amos. He was the number 4 seed.
On the mat number 3, good match going here between Groom from Boscobel and Mandarano from Belmont Platteville. That's on mat number 3, the lower left of your screen. 10-7 with a minute and 45 remaining in the third period there. Groom with the lead over Mandarano.
And that'll be the final match at 285. And then they're going to go into, in fact, they've just started some of those. They've started into the quarterfinal wrestlebacks, I guess it would be.
Okay. Did you see Nottestead got a fall, didn't he, at 285?
I believe so. I just put him down as the win.
Yeah, I think so. And did Martrick?
I did not see that one.
Okay, I didn't see it neither.
Hang on, I'll check and see here. Oh, Caleb hasn't wrestled yet. So
okay, they must be on deck on mat number 3.
So he's on deck on 3 here, apparently.
Okay.
Wow, that's a while.
We're going to cover this one, I think, and then you're going to have to just watch and catch up on the screens here. It's 126 consolation matches on mat number 1 and mat number 2. Cannot tell you the wrestlers. It's a River Ridge wrestler on mat number 1. I can see that on his singlet. I think that's a Valley wrestler on mat number 2. Wrestling maybe a GET wrestler.
Yes.
Okay, that's on mat number 2 at 126. And it was a quick one there. At 126, that was a GET, I think maybe, or wrestler coming up with the pin there. 126 over River Ridge wrestler. Monderano. It's a reversal. It's now 10-9 on the final 285. Nope, not the final one. We got one more coming up on mat number 3 yet. 10-9 is Monderano, and the groom go out of bounds.
To me, this is the only drawback. You should be able to move the wrestler to another mat.
With track.
But that's because we could always make those adjustments on paper. You know, I can remember, like Ted Harris or somebody, would come along and say, oh, let's go do this one over on mat 2.
Yep.
And he'd grab the paper and away we go.
Yeah. Have you seen Ted at all?
I haven't seen him for a while, no.
I have not seen him for a while neither. Monderano now, he's going to put Groom on his back. And it's going to be the fall. Monderano comes back from a pretty good sized deficit, and he wins by fall in 5:46.
Well, I tell you what, that's quite the match out there.
So Monderano is going to wrestle against Dylan Nottestad in the semifinals.
That was a 4 and 5 seed going at it. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to get Marchwick up here. So on this one, it's going to be Caleb Marchwick of Weston Ithaca. His opponent will be Thomas Haney of GT Mel Min. Pulled off an upset. He comes away with a pin over Austin Culpet of Cashton, which looked like Culpet was going to pick up a takedown, and then next thing you know, they didn't get it, and fresh start, and Haney comes away with the win.
We got a wrestle back on at mat number 4 at 106 pounds. That's a Belmont Platteville wrestler, and
Geyer from Westby.
Okay.
One of the twins, his twin brother, is at 126.
All right. And 126 pounds yet on mat number 2 between River Valley.
Marchwick is going to come around and pick up the takedown off from a front headlock on Haney. And we'll lead 2-0 here with a minute and a half left in period number 1.
On mat number 1, they've got the 132-pound weight class up on the board, but they're waiting for time there now, too.
Marchwick will give up the escape, letting Haney go, and it's 2-1 with 50 seconds to go in period number 1. 2-1 score at that wrestleback at 106 pounds, with Geyer of Westby out in front. There's a takedown by Marchwick.
On mat number 2, that's Braden Prohaska from River Valley wrestling against Scott Johnson from GET. Prohaska with the advantage, 7-2 now.
Marchwick with the takedown is out in front 4-1.
You're well put together young man too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now with a cross-face chest crusher type move, he's going to pick up some back points at the conclusion of the period, 2 near fall, and will extend the margin 6-1.
There's our photographer man down there on the edge of mat 1 and 2.
Nate.
Nate Meyer. Boy, he puts on a lot of miles a year.
He does. That's crazy. I think him and I ought to have a contest to see who drives the most, though. It might be a neck-and-neck race.
Yeah.
Here's a escape. 285 pounds. Haney will get that one, and back on their feet they go.
River Valley's Braden Prohaska wins.
I was talking to Nate the other day, and we were discussing nights off, and he goes, he says, my Monday nights are my night off. He says, that's when I just walk away from everything. And I said, well, mine's usually Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always plenty of things going on, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Marchwick now. He's got that over-under, kind of like in Iowa. Has Haney in trouble now, and a lot of time here to get the fall. 50-some seconds. Putting the pressure on. And there it is. He'll pick up the pin here in the second period and move on to Russell Bunker of Monroe in the semifinals. Well, I'm going to stop the recording here, Chuck, and just we're going to do our fresh start here, but we hope that you're enjoying today's broadcast of Richland Center Wrestling Invitational, the 58th annual high school tournament, one of the best and one of the longest in the state of Wisconsin. For Chuck, I'm Ken saying we're coming right back